First question. Something that you want to expand upon from last week or disagree with?
We already had that conversation, so I feel like we're good on that. Yeah.
Oh, we weren't recording it.
Damn, we should have recorded all of that. That was like 10 minutes right there. No, I don't really disagree with anything, and I don't think there's anything we need to expand upon further than the discussion that we just had. Off record, I guess I would say.
Anybody else have to say
I just
anything?
agree that I don't think it doesn't really matter what you do. Kids are going to turn out however they're going to kind of turn out, whether you supervise them completely or let them kind of willy-nilly do what they want.
Amber, anything you would like to add?
I really don't remember what we talked about. I remembered something about night terrors. That was really interesting.
It was what?
Professionals lists.
Night terrors.
Yeah.
Big deal for him. Hey, protest over at home.
Okay, but yeah, that was basically it. I don't think anything else is for that category. What's the next question?
Bring your uniform.
Marshmallow test. How do you feel about this experiment? What is it measuring?
They don't have to spell.
What factors can affect how a child performs on a test? Is there a way to conduct this experiment better? So I guess we can just start with the first one where it says, how do you feel about this experiment?
Amber, Kate, Kramer.
I don't know. That article said that children who are wealthier perform better on the test than poorer children, which is interesting, but I don't know. The experiment, I think putting candy in front of a child, I can't even control myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it goes into the third question, which is self-control, but
Yeah.
I feel like the children who end up not having the self-control are those who are restricted to certain foods during the day. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I think it's, I don't know. I mean, they're the ones who are like, know more the details of the experiment, but it sounds kind of, I don't know how I feel about it, because like you said, that's like putting candy in front of me. How could I say no? Like, I'll probably say yeah too. But I mean, it also is like you said, it goes in the third of like self-control. Like, sometimes I have and sometimes I don't. So
I never have self-control. I tend to do whatever the fuck I want. I usually get away with it. So life is pretty damn good for me.
don't jinx yourself. Okay. Anybody else have to say something on that? Well, it says what factors can affect how a child performs on the test? Is there a way to conduct this experiment better? So
Home life is probably a major factor on how kids perform.
Was all the family I had, but
yeah, because if kids lack self-control or they see their
somebody else can say something while we wait. or have anything else to say, I guess.
Please excuse me. I have an outpouring of mucus running through my system. But like I was saying, if kids notice a lack of self-control in their home environment, it'll reflect upon them in life, et cetera, et cetera. Part of the test, like when Kate said, even if you give a kid candy, she wouldn't even say no if you put candy in front of her. Kids will reflect off of that type shit.
Protests against monarch.
But besides that, I think that's good. We can move on to the next question.
Okay. What ways can you think of to help a child develop self-control?
Okay.
There's more to this thing right now.
Okay, this one's for you, big dog.
It's for me.
This is your
This is my question. I don't even. It just depends. At home, my girls have absolutely no self-control. I mean, if there's candy or ice cream in the freezer, that's where they're gonna go. But when we're out in public, it's totally different. So I just think I don't know. Personally, I think it's how they feel where they are. So they can, like, we had to go to my doctor's office, and the lady, one of the nurses, had a huge thing of candy. And they wanted a piece, but they wouldn't run in and go get it. And then she gave it to her. She gave them a piece of candy. And then the next time we went in there, they just ran into her office and said, "Can we have candy?" So I just think it depends on where they are and the environment and who they feel comfortable around. But at home, their self-control is totally different than when we're out in public.
Black hole creates deformation in space-time.
You know, do you have any like ways that you think that could have influenced them to understand to have more self-control, like in public, or like in situations where they should have more self-control?
They do in public. It's just at home. So when my oldest was two or three, her big thing would be climbing out of her room, like over the gate in the middle of the night. And she got to the point where I couldn't even hear her. But I remember coming upstairs into the kitchen, and there she is. She's standing on the counter, getting the candy off the refrigerator on the top and just sitting there eating it at midnight.
Dang.
And then I'd wake up, and in the morning I'd get them up for school, and she'd have like the whole bottle of Hershey syrup just everywhere on the bed. But when we went out, in public places, she would never act like that. She wouldn't just go and grab things. I used to think she was sleep eating.
Oh,
but
kind of crazy.
Yeah. But they have gotten a lot better. I think it's just the age.
Yeah.
So they understand. Yeah, they understand more now, but I like I said, I think it just depends on what environment they're in.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Okay.
I feel like teaching the child self-control is probably a challenging thing to do. I don't really know if you can teach a child self-control. I feel like more so you can teach a child social cues where they can understand that over here you can't really do that. But if we home so much, you can do whatever you want. Like when Kate brought up the example where her kids didn't want to go into the nurse's room and take candy, but the second time they did it, they just went in. I felt like that's more so because I knew the nurse was going to be okay with it instead of just going in and taking it. They never met her before. They don't know how she would feel about it. They just felt better the second time about going in and getting it because it's like they already know the nurse is going to be fine if they have some candy.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody else have something to add to it or want to? You don't have to. I can move on to the next question. Okay. Self-esteem. How can we work to build healthy self-esteem in children? How can we help prevent overconfidence as well as be there for children who are having low self-esteem?
It's already essentially set up.
I
I like to do this with.
honestly don't even know how to answer this one myself.
Okay.
I think it's just for the first part of it, from what I've learned, I think it's just reassuring them.
Mhm.
Like I mean, I don't know about you guys in high school, but people are mean. And I never would want my girls to go through what I went through, but it's just teaching them that they are smart and they're capable and they can do anything, and that to do the overconfident, to prevent overconfidence, it's not to, I guess, make them think that they are better than anybody.
Yeah.
And my big thing is getting them to understand that it doesn't matter whether or not they see someone who has a disability or if they look different. It's about everybody is the same, and they're actually they're very outgoing little girls, and they won't point things out like that. They'll just accept everybody the same.
That's really good. I think it does. I think
So
you're right.
it's nice because I've seen other children who are, oh, I can do this better than you can, and
Yeah.
it's extremely irritating to hear other children say that. But like I remember when my oldest was in half day kindergarten last year, people would be mean to her, and she would get upset about it because she couldn't understand why, because she was being nice to them. So I don't know, it's just reassuring them that they should be confident and that they are smart and that they can do anything to build that healthy self-esteem.
I think that's a really good answer. I think right too. Reassurance is like pretty much just one of the only things that you can hope would be the most, or one of the best ways to help build a child's self-esteem. And once again, that also goes with like age.
Still learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there's over time they're still learning.
Yeah.
So I mean now, it depends on the relationship also they have with each parent. So I have a great relationship with my girls. Their father he's a Sunday dad. So he doesn't have a great relationship with them. But I noticed that they're constantly trying to get his attention, which can backfire because that can lead to lower self-esteem if he's not paying attention.
Yeah.
And it's sad because they're so little, but I can't control what he does. All I can control is how I raise them at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that, or?
I think another good way to teach your children good self-esteem is to be like a model and don't talk badly about yourself in front of them, so they don't learn to think of themselves that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because they watch you a lot, so they're gonna treat themselves how you treat yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's a fair point too.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
What was supposed to happen. That's the reason.
Okay, do you want to move on to the next question?
The real goddamn quiet, right? How you think you could get child self?
I would just say there's a fine line between you got to be real and honest with them, but at the same time hype them up and be there for them. You're honest with them and you keep it real. Turn up on them.
Okay. How much did your school, elementary, middle, and high school, focus on working? Gosh, if I can just read. Working cooperatively with others. As an example, how many group projects do you remember in high school? Mine never worked. I never had groups in high school. We never really had group projects. My school honestly avoided that kind of stuff.
That's literally impossible. I mean, I can't even.
I remember a couple of projects, but it was like science, like that. I think right now, the way we meet every week, this is the most group projects I ever had for a single class in my whole goddamn life.
High school, middle school, college has all been where you people. I mean, not this discussion or anything or this group, but is where you got one or two people that really focus or are good students that want to succeed, and the rest just kind of go along with it.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me.
Never had to deal with that. I don't know why my school they just avoided group projects. So honestly, this is still new. This is still one of my only group projects I don't think I've ever done even 5 group projects before in my life. That sounds a little outrageous, but I may work with a partner every once in a while, but like I said, my school really avoided that stuff.
Probably because of those reasons. People don't actually learn from it, maybe.
Yeah, depends. Okay, do we want to move on to the next one? How do you feel about parenting styles? What style did your parents use? For me personally, wait, hold on. I lost my, mine were very, authoritarian. Is that how you say it? Authoritarian. I always forget between authoritative and authoritarian. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Does that sound?
I think authoritarian is more than authoritative.
Yeah. It says that. It says that when it comes to rules, you believe it's my way or the highway. You don't take your child's feelings into consideration. Yeah, I came from definitely an authoritarian household. My parents were not very, very strict. Didn't really care. I guess how I was feeling. They were just very, very strict.
Amber?
Are they religious? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
But their rules weren't even really based on their on their religion. It was more, I don't even know. They were just very controlling and kind of wanted. My parents have ever since they turned 18, they understood that I was 18 and there's not much they can do to control me at that point. I'm 18, I'm an adult. So they really backed off, which I was kind of shocked. I thought they might still pry in my life and stuff even after I turned 18. But thankfully they were more understanding than that. But growing up, my mom and I had the worst relationship just because of honestly, the parenting style they chose. Because they kind of chose they're just so ridiculously strict. It was insane. But I feel it was kind of good for me in a way. Kept me kind of in line. made me a bit more, did teach me stuff I like applied, I use today. Keeps me a little bit more responsible, I guess, in a way. I'm just trying to find some good out of it, not trying to make the parents sound that bad. They were very strict.
Based on the personality of the person that's happening to as well, because you could have lashed out and been completely different. I'm going to do the opposite when I turn 18, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. That's me. Yeah. When I turned 18, I started going crazy. I started going crazy at 17, but when I hit 18, goddamn, they knew that wasn't stopping me, but I did shit. And I couldn't really do a damn thing about it. And I know that pissed them off. It's gonna be y'all. But fuck it. It is what it is. But shit, yeah. I had authoritarian. Yeah, I had authoritarian too. Well, more so on my dad's side because he's from Africa. So you know how those are. They're gonna be on your ass all the time. So it worked. He was on my ass constantly. But the shit, I touched freedom and then I went crazy. And then I could never go back. So he kind of understood that. I know it pisses him off half of the shit I do, but he doesn't even know half of the shit I do. So the half he does know pisses him off, but the other, I'll be fine.
Interesting.
Just a little soul. I think that's about it. Kate?
Who
I grew up with a single mom. My mom and dad got divorced. My life was a little different. I was enrolled in high school, but I did a work study program. So I worked 3 jobs. And my mom, we had an awesome relationship. She would let us throw parties at the house. As long as no one drove. She took me to get my first fake ID when I was 17. But when I turned 21, though, I had no desire to party at all. And then
what's the age difference?
What?
What's the age difference?
My mom and I?
Yeah.
30 years.
Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't know if she was like closer to your age.
No. I think that she felt extremely guilty because of what my sister, my brother, and I had to go through. And she tried to make up for it that way. But we had a great relationship. We still do. She did the things she did for us to keep us clothed and fed, and it was the ultimate sacrifice. So I respect that a lot. I didn't at the time, but once I had my children, I realized how important that was and what she actually did for us. And she was always honest with us. I tell her everything. She knows everything, and I don't keep anything from her. But yeah, as I got older, I had my kids somewhat young, not really. Quickly got married, but it was funny because she said, you're probably gonna have the same problem that I had. And at the time I didn't listen to her, but it turns out that unfortunately I ended up marrying someone who was just like my dad. Which is funny how history repeats itself, but if I didn't go through it, I think I wouldn't have learned as much as I did. But my parenting style is a little bit different than hers. I'm just more focused on raising my girls in the best way possible so that they're respectful and, they're on schedules and routines.
Mm-hmm.
and they go through the day-to-day and responsibilities and not just letting them run around and do whatever they want.
That's good. A little bit of structure.
Yeah.
Well,
Did everybody get a chance to speak?
what?
What?
Did everybody get a chance to speak? Like about their
Eh,
parents?
Not Amber.
Oh, Amber? I was just finna call on you, but they called you
Who
out
wants
for me.
to?
Actually had a very similar experience to Mackenzie with parents who were religious and were very strict with everything. So I feel like she kind of covered a lot of what happened to me as well, because I think it helped the way I turned out. And I wonder who I would even be if they had a different parenting style that they used to raise me. But I guess it turned out okay.
You turned out great, Amber. What will we ever helping us all the damn time?
I know. I used the gun.
All right. Well, I think that's our breakdown. I think that was the last question.